Welcome back. Now, Lesufi has walked away with the ANC and Gauteng's top job. After voting went into the night, Lesufi and two others from his slate emerged victorious, while TK Ngiza and Tasneem Mutara from Lebogang Maile's slate managed to cause an upset. Lesufi beat Lebogang Maile by a little over 30 votes. So what does this mean for Gauteng? Political analyst Levi Ndoi joins us now to unpack his thoughts. Really not a huge margin, and we didn't expect this, especially because they were head-to-head in 2018 for the position of deputy chair, and then I think it was just under 20 votes that separated them. So even with this one, we knew that it was going to be very close, right?
Morning, Masejo. Morning to the viewers at home. While quite expected, the contest between Panyaza and Lebogang has got its own history. But equally so, Panyaza appears to be always making it and beating up Lebogang Maile on a regular basis. But I think when we look at it overall, the slate politics in Gauteng appears to have been defeated, in the sense that if you look at the history of the elections in other regions and provinces, you'd actually get other slates making a clean sweep. We knew about the slates that were existing, and that was not the case. And I think it might be informed by a number of factors. Factor number one would be that the delegates might have decided to choose the candidates and ignored the slates that were actually presented in front of them, even though they were advised to do so. Number two, the withdrawal from the race by Dr. Masuku might have actually played a very important role for the campaign by Lesufi. But equally, the ANC in Gauteng should celebrate that there is no one or no grouping that can be identified as a winner or a loser, because equally, those that wanted top position from either sides are there. What they need to do is to manage the different groupings that existed and actually make sure that they don't exist anymore and they move forward as a united front as Gauteng province.
Which is what Paul Mashatile had been asking for and what he told them before conference. But in terms of the court battle around the 19 quarantine votes during the Ekurhuleni region of the conference, would that have made a difference had the outcome of that court battle been different?
Well, I don't think so. There is a view and a perception which is out there that seeks to suggest that the quarantine vote might not be in favor of the current leadership at Ekurhuleni. Even though this leadership of Ekurhuleni participated in the conference, still they could not make it. But what I think it's quite important for me, Masejo, is that the ANC should try to develop mechanisms in which matters relating to disputes and these quarantine votes are actually dealt with and addressed immediately. It has actually taken 3 weeks since Ekurhuleni went to a conference, and still today they have not been able to open that box and finally address that matter. And these are issues that have got a potential to always haunt the party when it has to move towards conferences. Lucky enough, courts have actually ruled in favor of the ANC. And what becomes the biggest task for me in Gauteng is to ensure that they identify the challenges that made them to lose the metros and pick up the pieces from there.
Talking about that, Mr. Ndoi, I actually wanted to come there. Let's talk about Lesufi and the possibility of him being premier of the province. 2024, how does it look? And I want to give you an example of how popular he seemed a few years ago when the current premier, David Makhura, had reshuffled his cabinet and took him to finance. And the people of Gauteng, even some in other parts of the province, complained about this. And I think a day or a few hours later, Makhura came back to give him education again. So he was quite popular then, but of course there's this cloud, this 400 million rand cloud of PPE corruption scandal in his department. How does it look for ANC Gauteng in 2024 in terms of Panyaza Lesufi and how popular he is to the people?
Panyaza has been able to stamp authority in the Department of Education in Gauteng. He has been able to deal with all issues affecting the learners in Gauteng very, very immediately. Whatever legal challenge that might happen in any school, Panyaza will be amongst the first people to arrive and provide solutions. He needs to take advantage, including his party, the ANC, take advantage of the popularity that Panyaza has in Gauteng. He is not only popular in Gauteng, he's even more popular outside his own province. We actually know of the Minister of Education, and Panyaza would always come tops as the well-known MECs of education in this country. The ANC need leaders that are also accepted by people outside the party. If you need to win elections in Gauteng, you need people like Panyaza Lesufi, who are generally accepted by everyone. Of course, there are scandals that are surrounding Panyaza concerning the PPEs. These are the matters that the ANC, Panyaza himself, must be able to deal with, ensure that as they move towards elections, these are issues that should not be clouding him anymore. Equally, Panyaza will still require sufficient support from the members of the ANC, from the different leagues, because without support of your own party, your campaign might not actually work very well. So it is up to the people of Gauteng to say, now we've got a leader, let's unite behind this leader and ensure that they deliver victory come 2024.
But is that going to be enough for the ANC? I mean, the electorate last year was talking a different message, right? It looks like the electorate either stayed away, which happened quite hugely during last year's local government elections, stayed away because of the perception of corruption within the ANC, you know, from national level all the way to municipal, state capture inquiry, etc. So is a face like Panyaza Lesufi and Gauteng really going to assist them? Or it's just a small part that assists them, but they still have a lot of work to do, right?
The ANC in Gauteng and elsewhere knows the challenges facing the party. And they also know that whilst they lose support or electoral support, it is not mainly factors outside the ANC. It is factors within the ANC which contributes towards the weaknesses of the party. The ANC in Gauteng has to develop means and strategies to reconnect with the middle class that is based in Gauteng. They must be able to know and understand the challenges of the citizens of Gauteng. The ANC in Gauteng should not be part of the people who complain about e-talks. They should be part of the people who are bringing solutions.
Exactly.
They are in charge of the province. They must easily communicate with their leaders at national level and stop complaining about e-talks, but bring solutions to e-talks.
Right.
The ANC in Gauteng is aware of the challenges that are faced by the people of Soweto relating to electricity. They know of the challenges of the people of Tshwane relating to service delivery and refuse removals. They are aware of the challenges facing the people of the West Rand, Sijibeng, and Ekurhuleni. They need to develop a holistic approach in order to be seen to be relevant to the people of Gauteng.
All right.
They need to move beyond conference and develop strategies that are relevant for everyone in that province.
All right.